Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. I'm Lawrence, and today we are going to take a look at the Valaverse Action Force Swarm Trooper and Swarm Gear set. So, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, follow the channel. It helps with everything that I'm doing and everything I'm trying to do, and just bring you some good reviews, hopefully. And point out some things that maybe you don't know, or just, give you an idea of whether or not you want to spend your hard-earned money on specific figures. So, firstly, just look at the figure. Now, I have not shown any of the Valaverse figures in the case, so these are not mine. A friend of mine allowed me to open one up, or do an unboxing, and I did have two of them, so I'm going to review these. I've actually already opened one up because I wanted to look at it before I start reviewing it. I don't like just going into reviews and saying, oh, this, and that. I like to get a good look at it, just point out a few things before I start reviewing it. But anyway, here's the figure, and unfortunately, you can see the reflection there. And there is like two coatings on this, so it makes it hard to see as it is. But it's just this really yellow figure. It's supposed to be like a bee, and there's your Action Force and Swarm. And then here we have the side again. I do like the fact that these all look very similar, like it's the same artist. It gives you the name and what number they are, kind of like the G.I. Joes. Here is the back, so there's your cross-sew. Someone did point out that this looks really awful, like it was done on a really bad printer, a copier, and that's when I couldn't stop looking at, because I do fix copiers for a living, and that's exactly what I saw. But I like how they do it, but I do think they should have done the artwork a little bit better. It looks cheap, but I like the idea of it. And then here's your file card. And then there is your action points, which is like flag points. So, there's that. And then here is the Swarm Gear set. And what that comes with is a flight pack, a shield, and 2 weapons. And so here is, oh, and it also comes with its own stand. So, here is one already all armored up, with the wings on it. I put the flight stand, the yellow flight stand on him, the shield. So, I have to say, right off the bat, this was one figure I actually thought was awful. Didn't want to have anything to do with it. I haven't pre-ordered it yet. It's actually sold out on Big Bad Toys. So, I opened it up, and I have to say, it looks way better in hand. Not really what I thought. Personally, seeing the pictures online, I don't think they did a really good job of showing it off. But when I get it in hand, I look at it and I'm like, that is exactly, it stands out. So, this is the gun that he comes with. This is the shield from the gear pack. Okay. Then he's got his grenade launcher, some machine gun, got a bunch of hands. He also comes with his stand. So, we're going to walk over here. We're going to unbox one so you can see exactly how it looks when you get out. Make sure you have your trusty bowl with hot water, because there were some things that I saw right off the bat. So let's take a look at this and get into this figure. All right, so here we're going to quickly, my buddy didn't give this to me when I originally did this, but here is the instructions that was sent with the Valaverse about what to do before you start moving the figures around. And it just talks about using a blow dryer or using hot water. Again, he's just trying to inform you what needs to be done. And again, I think it's overkill that these figures have been so tight. So, we're going to open one up And I'm going to say right off the bat, this one, at least this one over here, was not nearly as tight as any of them. So, your trusty razor, so you can just cut the top here. All right. And we're going to open the box. And here is everything that we get with all the Valaverse. Okay, so it has this cover over it. And then he put this piece of plastic over. So he said if there's any rubbing against this, it wouldn't rub off any of the paint. That right there is kind of a concern, to be honest. I've never really seen that, but I don't know why why you wouldn't rub off on this. But either way, this comes off, and now you have your trooper, your hands, your stand, and everything. So let's start off, and we will see how this one is. Now this is a completely different mold than all the other ones. All right, the hands are different, not the hands, the arms, the legs, everything is different for the most part. And the paint actually or the plastic feels different. Maybe it's due to the color. So, see if we can bend them. So this guy here, just like the other Swarm Trooper, that's right over there, seems to be bending perfectly fine right out of the box. And I can tell you that not one of the other Valaverse did this. Elbows, same thing. They have double joints. So, no issues here. Okay? But, your thigh swivels. So this guy seems to be moving pretty nice. But the hands here are going to be impossible. I won't even attempt to pull them out. I tugged on it just a little bit. And that, my friend, just, it wasn't going to work. Never, ever going to work. So, what you need is your hot water. And we're just going to soak them in the hot water for a short bit and kind of decide what hands we want to put on him. Alright. So let them sit in there probably for a good 60 seconds or so. Everyone's a little different. So you're going to need your stand for this. This is actually very important. And I don't think I've seen enough people talk about it. Hell, I don't know if anyone's talked about it other than I specifically spoke about it. So let's get our towel out here. All right, let's take him out and let's see how well he can move around. All right, so definitely looser right now, but now it's just about popping the hands off and getting on the hands that we want. So I usually do a trigger finger on the right, and all right, got that one off. And then the cupping hand to hold a rifle here. So again, this one moves really nicely. He's loosened up a little bit more, obviously. I didn't have any issues with them. But this is the reason why you need to stand. Because as I pointed out, I believe in every other video, the pegs are too small. So while he's hot, you want to hit them on the stands and expand those peg holes and let it sit there until it completely cools off. Because when I did that with this guy, I didn't have a problem moving him from the stand to stand. So I guess once we take him off the stand later on, or I take him off the stand and I let him cool down completely, we'll find out if it stays that way. So that's what you need to do with every Valaverse. This one hasn't been nearly as bad as the other ones. So now let's get into everything that he comes with and what the gear pack comes with. And as you can see, I have an Alley Viper here because my buddy said I like to see them side by side since they're kind of the same idea. Both have shields. They're both, you know, basically for riots, crowd control, the way they are. So, again, Valaverse comes with 4 sets of hands. They come with the fists already already on the figures. I don't know why they do that. Fists are probably the last ones I'm going to use. I seem to have a whole bunch because I have 2 figures. So you get 2 fists, 2 trigger hands, so if you want to be left-handed or right-handed, the 2 cupped hands, and then the thumb wrestling hands. All right. Swarm figure comes with the Vector. Thank you to, I forget who corrected me on that. Vector comes with his knife, and then it comes with the sidearm. So, in actuality, this is how he should look. Okay? So, comes with the stand, this stand, all the hands, the Vector, sidearm, his knife. So I'm going to pop him off here, take a look at him, and I have a lot of mixed reviews on this figure, a lot of mixed feelings. So, the one thing that I can't unsee was when I soaked him, his head fell off. Not a big deal. So this is ball joint, okay? When I popped him back on, I realized that all I could see was the ball joint through the eyes. Now, it's kind of shaded and everything, but it's not like it's the size of a face. It's the ball joint. As all I can see is the ball joint now, and I'm sorry, that really bothers me. The other thing that is an issue is his arms will only go up this high. Now you can manipulate it and twist his arms and make it go up higher, but due to these parts right here, they collide into each other. So his arms don't really go up. So when you try and get him in a natural shooting position, you have to manipulate a lot of different things just to get it there, and it's not really in the proper position that you would think. So it would be nice if this was taken care of, so you can get his arms into a T-pose. Oh my gosh, I can't believe a classified did something that a Valaverse can't do. Anyway, so, but I have to say this. No vest here gives him a huge range of motion and looks really, really nicely. And I really like the way that works. I do like this rather than the ab crunch because you can move them back and forth, side to side better. So I definitely do like that. His sidearm, which uses the same holster as a couple of the other figures, slides right in, and obviously you can see how the yellow is. The Vector, I'm trying to think if he comes with any other figures or if he just comes with the weapons pack, but you know, it has the yellow, the black, so everything's matching this figure really nicely. Here's what I believe is supposed to be their logo. Again, this is a nice figure. This is a nice troop builder with how he looks. You want a Cobra style trooper, Alley Viper, Vipers, something that's just very generic. Here you have it. Okay? So now we're going to get to the Swarm gear pack. And this is kind of unfortunate that it doesn't come with him. So, first things first is that we've heard about how people are breaking the wings. Soak these for at least a minute. They were so tight that there was no way that I was going to move them. I wasn't even going to attempt to, because I could put a little bit of force and I could tell that there was no give whatsoever. So I soaked it, boom, no issues moving it whatsoever. You have the shield, okay? And the shield has a handle. Now, this can be a good and a bad thing, and we will take a look at that in a second. And then he comes with his submachine gun. It comes with submachine gun or the grenade launcher. So, I'm going to quickly take a look at this, and I gotta say, the peg hole here is really long, alright, which is good because it has this backpack that sticks out. The one thing that I really didn't like, and this is major attention to detail that I do like, is you can see how the pack is angled here because it's made for the vest. And this thing, once you get it lined up to go into the peg, it slides in nice and tight. It doesn't move back and forth. It doesn't slide out. And it looks absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And here you have this wings. Honestly, every picture that I saw, I thought it looked really stupid. Getting it in hand, seeing it fully together, I'm like, this is actually a badass looking figure. Okay? So, one of my gripes is this gun here. If you're having the shield, it's easier to have the submachine gun, but this has a very small handle, and this has a pretty wide handle. And the way their hands are made is they kind of stretch out and they tend to stay there. So when you put it in there, it's super loose. Alright? I mean, it doesn't even want to stay there. I guess you could probably heat it up and try and close it again, but eventually that's going to cause all kinds of problems, because I really liked having this with the shield. The other thing is the shield handle seems very large to where it may also stretch out his hands. So, but here comes the issue with with this. And this actually goes back to the old G.I. Joe Alley Viper. And that is, you have to have a hand on it. So for me, I put it underneath this way. Once I can get it on. Looks like I kind of maybe stretched it out a little bit. So I had to put it on like this. I'm having no luck with this at all, am I? Well, basically, this is even worse than before. Okay, so there I got it on there. So to me, it seems like it has to go underneath. And then wrap up so he can hold it. Now, to me, this kind of creates an issue. And when you look at the Alley Vipers, and I have his hand off because I really didn't have this on a second ago, and this was brought to my attention when I did the review, someone pointed it out. It's supposed to go all the way through, you put the hand in. So now, his hand is actually free to hold a weapon. Should have brought one of my other Alley Vipers up. But the shield actually twists. So, it gives you a better range of motion. You can be holding a knife, or one of his sidearms, something like that, with the Alley Vipers. Okay? And I would have rather seen a shield done up like this. But this is what we got. In all honesty, I really like the way that it looks. There's absolutely no doubt about it whatsoever. And again, I didn't, they color scheme the weapons, and I just, having it in person, it looks really nice. I like that the vest is smaller. I can move the waist back and forth so it gets this nice crunch to it. I love the way that this thing actually looks, where it looks like that's supposed to be a jet that's kind of just propelling him up. But this does not look dumb like I originally thought it was going to. So, that right there is a quick look at the Swarm figure. But now I want to get into something else. And this video is going to run long, and I'm hoping you're hanging with me. And I want this put a rest to the people that are just completely pro Action Force and everything, and how great they are, and how Hasbro sucks, and Hasbro should give us more. Let me start with the reason why I brought up the Alley Viper is because these are both like crowd control. And so when you look at a Swarm figure, we're going to move this one over here. Look at the Swarm figure. Here's what you get for $32. You get the figure, you get the hands, which you don't get with any G.I. Joe figure. You get the stand. You can get your vector and your knife and your sidearm. And so we take them and we quickly throw everything together. And we go, all right, so here we go. Boom. And that's another thing. This one here wasn't that bad to move the hands, but you may want to soak them. I didn't soak these hands. And that's just to get them to move up and down, like right here. See if I can. So I was able to get this one to move. All the other ones I have not. Actually, feels like it's about to break. Anyway, so that's what you get for $32. And that's all I've heard is that, oh, Valaverse gives you so much. Yeah, they give you lots of hands. I don't need that many hands. A couple extra are nice. You got 2 weapons. Technically, I guess you got a vest, but I'm not going to take that off. And you got 1 knife. $32 figure. Now let's say you want the Swarm pack. The Swarm pack comes with this, which is cool to have an extra one since all your Valaverses already have one. You get your shield, you get your backpack, and you get your submachine gun and your grenade launcher for $18. So there you go. $32.18. It is a $50 figure if you want all of this. And all I've heard is the value that you get. And I don't really want to put it down because I really do like this figure. And now you want to look at the Alley Viper. And what do you get with an Alley Viper? For $20 right now at Target or Walmart. $23 once the price points hit. You can get the shield. You're going to get, I believe it's a riot shotgun with removable ammo clip, sidearm, 1 knife, 2 knives, a backpack, a grappling hook, his vintage gun. Yes, if you didn't know, you can do this. It's probably not supposed to be done this way, but technically you can slide it on there. The grappling hook that comes off, and you can put a piece of wire on and actually have him grapple. This all for $20. $25 at GameStop, $23 on Amazon. It'll eventually be $23 before the prices go up. So, I don't want to hear anything. I mean, a stand would be nice. But I gotta say, I'm really tired of the Valaverse versus G.I. Joe, Hasbro, Action Force versus G.I. Joe, Rival. They're both nice figures, but they both have their flaws. But we're talking about a $50 figure now. This is how he's supposed to look. You're getting as much for this figure. And don't get me wrong, I understand Hasbro is a billion-dollar company. But you can't keep pounding your fist about how much stuff you get with a Valaverse figure when the G.I. Joes are coming with just as much. You can't keep comparing stuff to what they gave us 2 years ago, which was actually still a nice amount of stuff. But now they're just throwing in stuff. And you look at the bats and everything the bats comes with. So, that's the reason why I brought him up. Because they're both crowd control, riot gear, different shields. This shield is better how it goes on. Tactically, this would be better, but again, this was going back to the vintage. So, anyway, I'm done rambling. I don't want to continue to bash it. I don't really want to bash it at all, because I really like this figure. So, let's wrap it up, and I'll go home. Alright, so there you have it. That is the Swarm Trooper review. And the Swarm Trooper with riot gear. Okay? I don't think I showed you the pistol that he comes with, sidearm. I like this pistol, it's really cool. I do like their holsters. And I really didn't want to rant on it. I'm absolutely over the whole bashing of one company. So, I want to say this. The owner of my company once told a story about how when he first went into, when he first started his business, he went in and he went in to get his sales, and to get the sale from an old company, get away from another company. And he said, I went in and I bashed the company for like 30 minutes, the whole sales pitch. And he said, as we were leaving, the guy shook my hand and he said, I was ready to go with your company from the get-go, and you walked in here and you spent the entire time bashing them and not talking about your company. There's no reason to constantly bash the other company, another company. You can point out specific flaws. Excuse me. You can point out specific flaws. That's one thing. Maybe what you did different. But when you're constantly hearing fanboys and everything bash the other bash one company, now you're going to get the fanboys from the other company, from the other company that likes their stuff, bashing your stuff. Let me tell you something. These figures are not perfect. These figures are not perfect. These figures fit perfectly together. So, rather than bash one company, put down another, put down the company, put down certain things that they do and tell you how great yours are or how great the one that you like is, just get over it. Just talk about what you like. Again, I'm sure someone's going to make a comment about how these are high-end figures. There's really no difference between these two figures, other than I have to soak him for a minute to get his hands off. There's no difference between the other Hasbro figures, the other classified figures, and the other Action Force figures, that I have to soak all of them to get them to bend and get them broken in. But there's other figures that do the same thing. So, I'm just going to leave it at that. stop putting down the other company when you're talking about your company or the product you like. And maybe some people think that I did that. I wasn't really trying to. I was trying to point out some things that I'm getting tired of hearing, because you are looking at a $50 figure if you want them fully accessorized. Again, compared to what would be a $20 or $25. Either way, it's half the cost. And so here's what you have when you just get a regular Swarm Trooper. It doesn't look bad at all. But once you see one that's fully loaded up, geared up, wings that articulate up and down, this one just kind of looks bare. But am I willing to spend $50 to get 3 or 4 of them? No. I mean, I can't afford that. But anyway, I'm done. This was the Swarm review. I know other people have done it. I wanted to get around to doing it. Again, I'm not looking to bash one company or the other company. I understand this company is a billion-dollar company. They can afford to throw weapons in, especially when it's their own IP. This is a smaller company. They need as much support as they can get. And I have no issues pointing out the flaws, because without pointing out flaws in your company, it's going to fail. Because if you continue to have tight joints and weapons that break because they're just too stiff, the company's eventually going to fail. And I don't want that, because they're making some really, really nice figures. I like what I saw from what's coming out for Wave 3. So I was on the fence to pick up a couple of them. Then I went to just the heroes. And the more I looked at the bad guys, the more I liked them. And so I have to hope that Big Bad Toys comes back and loads them up so I can pre-order them, because I didn't pre-order that stuff. If I don't get it, I don't get it. So anyway, Swarm figure. Don't forget his knife. And it has nice color too. I mean, they do a really good job. Let's see if you see the blade there. So I do really like that. Like some of this attention to detail. Again, the paint apps look nice. So, but you are gonna notice that face now. You're just like, oh boy, look, there's a ball joint. So hopefully something like that gets rectified in the future if you do figures like this. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm rambling. Anyway, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Follow the channel, Instagram, A Punk with Toys, and happy toy hunting.